Good evening, everyone. Thank you all for coming out tonight and joining us for this Wednesday, July 16th, 2025 meeting of the Lakewood Planning Commission. We're glad you're all here. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Commissioner Grebliunas.
Here.
Commissioner Holman. Here. Commissioner O'Neill. Commissioner Buckley.
Here.
Commissioner Molinar.
Here.
Commissioner Overall. Commissioner Williams.
Here.
You have a quorum.
Thank you very much. Tonight's a big night for two members of this commission. We've had a couple of vacancies for a few months now, and so last month the City Council appointed Elizabeth Molinar over here to my left, all your right, and over on the other side here, Commissioner Brian Holman to the Planning Commission. So please join me in welcoming them to the commission, and congratulations to both of you on your appointment. We're all looking forward to serving with you up here. And so according to the rules and regulations of the Planning Commission, whenever new members of the commission are seated that very meeting, we are to hold an election of all officers. And so that explains agenda item number 3. Mr. Clerk, will you read it into the record?
Item 3, election of officers.
All right. So yeah, my time as chair is now up since we're having an election. And so Mr. Medina, our clerk, will lead the nominations and elections for the chair.
Are there any nominations for chair?
I nominate Commissioner Buckley.
Are there any other nominations? Okay, we'll do roll call vote for chair of the Planning Commission. Commissioner Grebliunas.
Yes.
Commissioner Holman.
Yes.
Commissioner Buckley.
Yes.
Commissioner Molnar.
Yes.
Commissioner Williams.
Yes.
I now hand it back to you, Chair Buckley.
All right, thank you, and thank you to my fellow commissioners for entrusting me with leading these meetings. It's not always the easiest task, but I appreciate the confidence you've placed in me. We will next take nominations for vice chair.
I move to nominate Commissioner Grebliunas as vice chair.
Thank you. We have a nomination of Commissioner Grebliunas. Are there any other nominations? Seeing none, we will take a roll call vote on whether to appoint Commissioner Grebliunas as the vice chair of this commission. Mr. Medina, please take a roll call.
Commissioner Grebliunas.
Yes.
Commissioner Holman.
Yes.
Commissioner Buckley.
Yes.
Commissioner Molinar.
Yes.
Commissioner Williams.
Yes.
Commissioner Grebliunas, you are now vice chair.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Clerk. And we have two absences tonight. Commissioner Overall and O'Neill are both out of town, and regretful that they are not able to make it tonight. But Commissioner O'Neill did send me a message that she would like to continue serving in her previous role as secretary of the commission. So therefore, I will nominate Commissioner Jenny O'Neill as secretary. Are there any other nominations for that position? Seeing none, let's take the roll call vote. Mr. Medina.
Commissioner Grebliunas.
Yes.
Commissioner Holman.
Yes.
Commissioner Buckley.
Yes.
Commissioner Molinar.
Yes.
Commissioner Williams.
Yes.
Commissioner O'Neill is now secretary.
All right, very good. Congratulations to Commissioner O'Neill. Mr. Medina, please read the next agenda item into the record.
Item 4, PL 25-0002, comprehensive plan, bike plan edits.
All right, I see we have Roger Wadnell and Christy Ivanov here from planning staff to give a presentation on this item. When you are ready, please begin. Would you like to sit there? Sure, yeah, you can come forward. Whatever's easiest for you. Sure. Dude. Yeah, Christy, whatever's easiest.
Roger Wadnell, Comprehensive Planning Manager. And I just wanted to explain the context of this action. The comprehensive plan has been going through about over 2 years of working through issues and adoption, and it was actually adopted by the Planning Commission on April 23rd of this year. The reason we are here is really for a very technical reason. The Lakewood Bicycle Plan was also adopted by City Council, and there are just some technical inconsistencies between the two documents. One, in that they're identified really in only two strategies, strategy 142 and 143. You have the memo in front of you, so I'm not going to go through all the details, but essentially it is just to correct some language so that both the bicycle plan, which has been adopted and is focused on bicycle transportation, and the comprehensive plan language are consistent. So it's very, very specific to that. If you'd like, we can go in, Christina and I can go into a little more detail, but it really is language to make strategies 142 and 144 consistent with the bicycle plan. And that I'll just leave it at that, but we are available for questions.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Wadnell. Any questions from commissioners? Okay, I'm seeing no questions. We will move into public comment. I see there was one person who signed up to speak during public comment. I think it's Corey Odensdorf. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. Is there a Corey here? The one person. Did you sign up, sir, to speak on this item, or was it the next agenda item? Okay, thank you. I heard him say it was the next agenda item, so we will come back to you. Is there anyone else in the room who would like to speak on the comprehensive plan edits? I am seeing no one in the room indicate so I will therefore close public comment. Any discussion or questions from the commission? Okay, yeah, I will just say that I think this is a pretty straightforward and minor and technical edit. Certainly, I personally appreciate consistency between our various planning documents that this city has. We have a lot of them, goodness knows, and so it is important that they're all driving and supporting each other. And so I certainly support the edits just from that perspective. And I'll also just compliment the staff that was involved in preparing the bicycle plan. It's a very thorough and well put together plan. As always, it's given me a reason to be very impressed with the quality of Lakewood staff and the job you all do. Everything from the public outreach to the preparation of the final document that's clear implementation projects and goals. It's a good infrastructure plan, and bicycling is something that I know many people want to see. Facilities for that improved throughout our city. So I'm happy to see the adoption of this plan, and more than happy personally myself to make sure that the comprehensive plan fully supports those goals. I'm seeing no other discussion. Is there a motion?
I would like to make a motion. I'm not sure if it's the right motion, but I'll take a stab at it. But I move that we approve the readoption of strategies 142 and 144 in Envision Lakewood 2040 as presented.
Second.
Thank you. That is a motion and a second. I think that's a very clear motion for what we're doing, adopting strategy 142 and 144 as outlined in the staff report for those edits. All right, so we will take a vote. We will use the voting machine. If you support incorporating those edits, vote yes. A no vote indicates opposition to changing the comp plan language.
Point of order, Chair and Clerk, my fellow commissioners' button does not appear to be working.
Mine doesn't either. Mine is.
Okay, yeah, I'm seeing, not everyone's is coming up. I don't know, Mr. Clerk, everyone appears to be unlocked.
We could do an aye or nay vote, and then I'll work on the buttons as we move forward.
Yeah, Mr. Clerk, please call a roll call vote.
Commissioner Gribble-Unis?
Aye.
Commissioner Holman?
Aye.
Commissioner Buckley?
Yes.
Commissioner Molinar?
Aye.
Commissioner Williams?
Aye.
That motion passes.
Okay, thank you very much. On to the next agenda item, number 5. Mr. Clerk, please read it into the record. Thank you, Mr. Wadnell and Mr. Ivanov, for your time tonight.
Item 5, FA 23-0003 and PM 23-0004. 1031 South Union Boulevard.
All right, we will begin this this item, I believe, with a presentation from the applicant. Or is it from staff first? All right, the applicant is coming forward, so thank you and welcome.
Hi, thank you for hearing us. My name is Matt Hill. I represent the ownership group and the development group on the project at 1031 South Union Boulevard. We're here to present a thoughtfully planned, small-scale infill development that would create 12 new single-family homes on approximately 2 acres of vacant land. Kara, does that clicker? There we go. Okay.
Is it working for you there?
Yeah, sorry. Technically challenged here.
No worries, not at all.
We're going
Understand
the
it
wrong way.
happens when you're speaking in a new spot, so no pressure.
If you would like to use the keyboard, you're more than welcome to.
As you can see, 1031 South Union is uniquely located between Green Mountain Elementary School to the north and Green Mountain Swim Club to the south. The site was previously rezoned to R16, supporting small lot single-family development, a zoning designation that matches the surrounding homes and the neighborhood character. This proposal offers compatible and appropriate transition between existing uses and helps fill a vacant parcel within a well-established neighborhood. We've created a landscape buffer of trees and shrubs to soften the streetscape, both along Van Gordon and also along Union Boulevard. We've added native seating in the detention area and the water quality areas, reinforcing a practical sustainability, perimeter fencing surrounding the site and the proposed new homes. That will add safety and privacy without compromising visual openness. We do feel like these elements support a quiet, neighborhood-friendly environment that blends in, but also enhances the existing streetscape. These 12 homes will be tastefully designed with a mid-century modern style that aligns with and complements the surrounding neighborhood character. Surrounding neighborhood being, post-war boom era, mid-century. Post-war boom, mid-century era neighborhoods there. We've also tried to do our best to minimize traffic impacts, primarily through moderate density. Vehicle trips are well within the capacity of the surrounding collector streets. No new through streets are proposed, and that helps maintain a quiet and low traffic nature of the area, along with the cul-de-sac here, which is generally a very desirable layout for the new community. We've maintained active communication with the Green Mountain Swim Club and designed our project to not only avoid negative impacts to their property and business, but ultimately provide benefits to them. We actually purchased this property from the swim club originally and have worked very closely with them and coordinating everything that goes into this project and maintain a very positive working relationship with them and maintain good support from them as well for this. In addition, this is also a very walkable location that's adjacent to both the elementary school and the swim club. And also the retail businesses that are along Union there. The plat proposal brings direct community benefits. It adds 12 new homes to help address Lakewood's ongoing housing needs, especially for families looking for attainable single-family housing in an established school district. It supports city housing goals by offering an infill solution rather than expanding the urban edge. It promotes intergenerational housing options, young families, first-time buyers, or even those looking to downsize. It enhances neighborhood continuity and property value, and it respects the neighborhood scale and context, avoiding large or out-of-place structures and excessive density. As mentioned before, we've worked closely with the city planning staff to ensure smart growth with a layout and design that meets current development standards. Might have to skip through here. Apologize. Overall, in closing, we believe this subdivision strikes the right balance of thoughtful design, community compatibility, minimal neighborhood impact, with the positive addition of 12 high-quality new homes for those looking to live in the vibrant Lakewood area, more specifically the Green Mountain area. The project is not just consistent with zoning, it's aligned with Lakewood's long-term planning goals, and we respectfully ask for your support and approval of the final plat, and happy to answer any questions you may have.
All right, thank you, Mr. Hill. Are there any questions from the commission for the applicant? Commissioner Grebliunis.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you for the presentation. I guess just one quick question. Do you have any idea of the rough size of home and height of home that are being proposed here?
The homes are not completely vetted and designed as far as the structure goes. Well, obviously, we wanted to get through this process before we get too far down the road. But the product prescription for the area is primarily ranch-style single-floor homes with some two-story homes mixed into it. House sizes will be between 2,500 and 3,500 square feet.
Okay, yeah, that seems in line with the surrounding context. Thanks.
Okay, Commissioner Holman.
Hi, quick question on a piece of the diagram that you showed between lots 7 and 8. Was that a walking path between those two lots? It was on the south side of the cul-de-sac.
No, that's a drainage.
Okay.
There's a drainage channel that goes in between the swim club property to protect their property from taking excess flows onto their property and directing it down into the detention area.
Okay. Would it be possible somehow to include a walking path between this development and South Union to connect the sidewalk to this development?
Possible for sure. I would have to double back and check with our design professionals and also with the planning department in terms of the viability and how that all fits within the context of the zoning code.
Okay.
I would also add, we're not opposed to that at all. That's definitely part of the development here, is engaging in the local community, not trying to be a standalone community, but really trying to bring it into context with the surrounding neighborhoods, surrounding businesses. So.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, the reason why I ask is to improve walkability and bikeability, because if that portion of land were connected via a path, then that could save some bikers and walkers from going through the two intersections south of this development, which would be much more pleasant.
Yeah, at Van Gordon there, and also at Union, or Union.
Yeah.
All right, is that all, Commissioner Holman?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Williams was next.
Thank you so much for being here and for putting together this great presentation for us. We love housing, so this is great. I just have one question for you and then potentially one for staff. I am glad to know about the use of native grasses in the detention and water quality area. My question is there, and perhaps you have not gotten this far, which is totally fine. Is there any thought that's been put into the additional landscaping associated with the individual homes? Will you be bringing native grasses and landscaping throughout the rest of the lots, or will those be using water-heavy sod? Have you considered that at all at this point?
I believe that, and I could be speaking out of turn here, but I believe that there's minimum standards that we have to meet in terms of trees, street trees, and items like that. Those items have been contemplated for sure. In terms of the individual lot landscaping, that hasn't been contemplated.
Sure.
And really, what we're looking to do is make sure that what we're presenting and what we're offering is most marketable and most appealing to the overall community development. So I would say that generally speaking, we try not to go heavy on sodded large turf areas and try and bring in a mix of low water needs and whatnot, because that is certainly something that the end users appreciate and brings value to the properties.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. I think as you have mentioned, there are many references to sustainability in our comp plan and other places, and the ability to have as water-wise landscaping as we can is really great. I just had to pay a lot of money to rip out all of my very water-heavy front lawn, and I think being able to make sure that we're developing in a way that is sustainable and water-wise in this climate is important. So I appreciate your commitment to considering how we can do that as this development moves forward, assuming that it does. So thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Commissioner Molinar.
Yeah, it's a related question, actually. Sustainability is important to the comp plan, and you mentioned sustainability in your presentation that's posted in the package online on Lakewood Speaks. And besides the grasses and, what you do in terms of water-wise landscaping, can you elaborate on what is sustainable about this development?
Well, generally speaking, we strive to use construction methods that are sustainable. I think the standards that Lakewood's put in place are obviously geared towards sustainability in terms of the landscaping for the common areas, the detention areas, the water quality areas, definitely are driven for that. But generally speaking, I probably would speak more to the house construction in terms of sustainability, and looking towards that and what we do from an energy efficiency standpoint, from a water conservation standpoint, and frankly, fitting within the building codes and whatnot. Anymore, it's very tough to build a house because of the way that the building codes and the energy codes are written that aren't sustainable. We've made a lot of advances in the last 4 years in that regard. And Lakewood's, we're specifically working on another development on a different part of Lakewood, and the points that we have to require and the different things that we need to work into our design. All, I can't put a number on it, but it's just round numbers, probably 60 to 70% more sustainable than we were 5 or 6 years ago. And that incorporates a lot of different things. It incorporates water usage. It incorporates sustainable materials, not using, wasteful materials. We use a waste and recycling plan that gets turned in throughout the process to make sure that we're recycling as many materials as we can during the construction process rather than sending them to the landfill. Down to energy usage. The level of windows that we have to have in the homes to make sure that it's more cost effective to heat and cool your home. The insulation values that go into the home. Just for example, 5 or 6 years ago, we could get away with R21, R19 in the walls and R38 in the ceilings. Now we're up to R51 in the attic spaces. Like, there's been significant jumps in that side of things, on top of the fact of just good sound quality construction, which is something that our company has been known for, and building houses right, making sure that the right thought process and the right supervision and all of those things go into it in order to create a good house that's going to last a long time, because that's ultimately the goal. We're not building a house that's going to be 15 years and need to be redone, right? We're building houses that are there for a lifetime, much like the surrounding community. So, I mean, those houses have stood the test of time, and we definitely want to make sure that our community, our development dovetails in with the existing community.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Commissioner Molinar. And yeah, I can echo some of these things my fellow commissioners have said. I personally live in a mid-century home, not too different from the ones that exist in the surrounding neighborhood, and I can testify that it is generally very well built, and we appreciate a company that's committed to that same quality that we've had in the past in Lakewood. But one area where it's very lacking is insulation. And so, yeah, the newer construction compared to what was happening 60 or 70 years ago is definitely a benefit. Yeah, I just had a question. I guess it's probably a question for staff even, but you guys can stay there. So, Ms. Mueller, I know this might be getting a little ahead into site plan stuff, but some of the sustainability dimensions that Mr. Hill was just mentioning here, are those required in the enhanced development menu, and does that apply to this development since it is a collection of single-family homes? I just want to understand more about what the next required steps after this are in that area.
It's my understanding, and not being the sustainability planner, that all the single-family homes that'll come through will still need to have greenhouse gas emissions worksheets that they have to work through a certain amount of points. They'll be required EV chargers within the garage, and that's per the building code. They do need to submit, as the applicant stated, a waste and recycling plan that does get reviewed by our sustainability planner with every development that comes in, and that's to assure that they're meeting all of those requirements.
Okay. Oh, thank you.
I could add a little more to that if you'd like.
Go for it.
So
Yeah,
in
please
addition
do.
to that, part of our submittal process on the plan, we have to do manual JD&S, which is a design for the heating and ventilation system to make sure that it's as efficient and cost-effective as possible, delivering the airflow to the house. So we have to do that. That gets inspected at the rough inspection phase. In addition to that, we have to do some level of and generally the way that we take this is we use an energy rater that goes in and looks at all of the different elements in the envelope of the house. They put together that recipe at the beginning. Again, it gets tested. We do a duct blasting test during the construction to make sure that there's no duct leakage within the after you drywall in that's going to be leaking energy, so to speak. And then at the end, we have to have that same energy rater come through, make sure that the window U values match, that the R values match. We have to do a blower door test that we have to make sure that it stays below 3 air changes an hour. And there's a lot of things in that is really quite an enhanced package. So.
All right. Yeah, thank you. That's excellent context. One last thing for me, I will echo Commissioner Holman's sentiment that some sort of sidewalk or walking path connecting the end of the cul-de-sac to South Union Boulevard would be a nice amenity for the neighbors if it's possible to get that in, possibly across the easement you're already dedicating for the detention pond, if that can be arranged to have that in there. I do know from walking the site this weekend, there's kind of a steep grade there on the east end of the lot near South Union. I expect that might be your challenge in meeting ADA, but if you can do it, I think it would be a very valuable amenity. And I did note when I was out there's kind of already like a so-called goat path, right, that just people have informally beat over the years, kind of on the far northeast side of the lot, where the steepness of the hill is the least coming up from Union onto the lot. People have just kind of walked there. Maybe they're going to the swim club. Maybe they're just cutting across to somewhere else in the neighborhood because it's an empty lot and you can do that. So clearly there's already a desire line. You add 12 more homes, the desire line will probably still be there and maybe even increase a bit. If you don't do it, people might just be trampling all over the nice landscaping and water quality area. So it seems like a sensible thing to me to figure out how to make it happen.
Absolutely, yeah. We are very open to it, and I just don't want to commit to it, like you mentioned with the east side and the sloping, and in previous conversations, we've talked about the configuration and how to deal with those grades. I know that we have to have vehicular access into the detention area, and so one would assume if we have vehicular access, we can also create some version of pedestrian access there, but we'll work with our landscape architect, site planning, and Kara as we evolve that.
Okay, excellent. Commissioner Williams.
Thank you, Chair. A couple more questions. One surrounding the power sources for these properties. Do you have any idea, will these homes be using methane gas for heating?
Definitely not methane gas. Natural gas. There's a lot of undercurrents on natural gas in the Denver metro area. There's definitely a driver to be using electric. So heat pumps over gas-fired furnaces for a forced air system, which is an efficient use of electric heating and cooling. It is definitely, if you look at the point systems that we have to meet, it is very much encouraging us not to use natural gas. So my guess is that there's a high likelihood that we won't be using natural gas as a heating source.
Okay, great. My understanding is that methane and natural gas are effectively the same thing, and so I just want to make sure that we're understanding what the power source is here. But I appreciate what you have shared with us around making sure that we are working towards electric and utilizing where possible alternatives to that, to gas-powered homes. My other question, and perhaps this is for staff, in the staff memo, we have comments from a variety of stakeholders, including RTD, XL, and others. I see that property owners and neighborhood associations were notified about this review and hearing is covered by section 16-8-8-1, 16-8-8-2, and 16-8-3. But I just was curious, I didn't see any comments from residents in the memo. I know we have at least one person here who's going to do public comment on this, but I'm just curious if city staff could speak to whether or not we received any other comments, emails, those types of things from neighbors or members of the public.
Thank you for the question, Commissioner Williams. No, we did not receive any emails, any phone calls from the public from the notification process. And I believe there were no comments directly on Lakewood Speaks either.
I think there was one,
Was there one?
but it came in, but we got that one. So I appreciate
Okay.
that.
Maybe
And
I
I know
just
we have
didn't see
someone here
that.
for public comments, but I just thank you. I just wanted to ask because a lot of them had some feedback from like RTD and XL. And so I just want to make sure we didn't miss any of that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Chair. That's all.
Okay, thank you. I'll just confirm for the record, we do have one comment on Lakewood Speaks that's generally supportive. So I'm seeing no more questions from commissioners right now. We may have another round for you, but thank you for your presentation. Mr. Hill, you may sit down now and we will hear the staff presentation.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Ms. Mueller, welcome.
Good evening, Planning Commissioners. My name is Kara Mueller, and I'm with the Development Assistance Division with the Sustainability and Community Development Department here with the City of Lakewood. And I'm here for the presentation for the subdivision for Green Mountain Village, filing number 44. It is inclusive of a preliminary plat, case number PM 23-4, and a final plat, case number FA 23-3. The applicants are requesting approval of a 2.3 acre piece of land to subdivide that into 12 residential lots, as well as dedication of right-of-way for a new cul-de-sac street. and they are requesting approval of the preliminary and final plats. Just a little more information, the preliminary plat and final plat applications, these were submitted concurrently for review. The preliminary plat application reflects the proposed public and private improvements, landscaping, buildable footprint, setbacks, and the new right-of-way. Each of the 12 new single-family residential lots will have access to and directly that new cul-de-sac street, created and proposed to be dedicated with the final plat. The property is located at 1031 South Union Boulevard and is zoned small lot residential R16. The site is shown here in yellow, which is adjacent to single-family homes to the west. And to the east, there are some office as well as residential properties on the other side of Union Boulevard. To the south is the swim club, and to the north is Green Mountain Elementary School. Again, the subject property is zoned R16, as you can see here on the slide, and you can see all of the other R16 that surrounds it. There is quite a bit of mixed use to the south, and originally back in 2022, this was proposed for rezoning, and it was mixed-use employment suburban, and it went through the hearing process to be designated as R16. And now we're seeing the plat come through to fulfill that further vision. A little bit about the plat. Again, 12 single-family detached residential lots, public right-of-way dedication in the form of a cul-de-sac. There will be public easement dedications as well. Detached sidewalks are required around this entire cul-de-sac and around the bulb, and will be inclusive of trees for the tree lawns. There is detention and water quality features, and that's actually covered by a drainage easement over Lot 6. And per one of the commissioner comments, there is also another drainage easement between Lots 7 and 8, and that goes to a drainage pan in order to get the flows out to the detention area. A little bit of history on this property. The property is currently vacant. There is a little bit of fence and playground equipment along the southern property line. All of that will need to be removed prior to any recording of a final plat. Green Mountain Elementary School again to the north. Green Mountain Swim Club is to the south. And as the applicant stated, they had actually purchased this from the swim club and has worked very closely with them throughout this process. And the adjacent land uses are primarily the single family, of which this will fit within that zoning classification. Just real quick on the major subdivision process, all formal land applications start with pre-planning application. You can then submit the formal application. So in this case, it was concurrency of a preliminary and final plat, along with all the civil plans that were required. Staff does a review, and when it's ready, the director will take a look at it and make a recommendation to Planning Commission. They will hold a public hearing, and that's why we're here this evening. You will make a motion on both the preliminary and final plat, and I believe that is in one resolution this evening. And if approved, then the civil plans are approvable, and those can be done administratively after the fact. Then individual building permit applications can be submitted, and construction of the public improvements and the individual units can occur. This is just a little colored diagram of the preliminary plat. You can see Lot 6 is the largest lot. It's up there in the northeast corner, and it is covered by a detention and drainage easement. The name of the new cul-de-sac street is South Van Gordon Way, and it takes access directly off of South Van Gordon Court. The green trees are enumerated, and they fit in between various easements, but do meet the requirement of the street trees along these streets. This is a picture of the final plat. And as you can see, the lot sizes are at least 6,000 square feet. The lot width is 60 feet at the street. The corner lots there at the entry of the cul-de-sac bulb have an additional 5 feet of width per the subdivision ordinance. Any of the lots that are on the bulb itself are required to have a minimum of 30 feet at the street frontage. And all of the lot lines are primarily substantially at right angles with the new roadway. Public notification did occur. One's required at the very beginning when someone submits a plat application, and then the second one goes out for the public hearing. Mailed notification did go to 114 owners and tenants within 500 feet of the subject property and 4 registered neighborhood organizations within 1,000 feet per the subdivision ordinance. It says 5 notices up there. We typically have a primary and a secondary option for mailing to each of these organizations, and some have 2 and some have 1. So in this case, one of them did, so there were 5 notices, but 4 organizations. Publication, it was made in your hub, posted at the Civic Center here, and notification signs were posted on the site per the subdivision ordinance. So the approval criteria is conformance with the zoning ordinance and zone district lot standards. Again, this is the R16 district. They meet the minimum lot size, minimum lot width. They have additional frontage where necessary, and all proposed side lot lines are substantially at right angles with the street. Conformance with the comprehensive plan and all other adopted plans. It does conform with several goals of the Lakewood Lives chapter of the comprehensive plan. Staff finds that the subdivision design meets the R16 zone district standards, and that is very similar, as you saw on the zoning slide, to the surrounding neighborhoods in the area. As such, these new homes will contribute to the existing neighborhood character. New sidewalks promote healthy and active neighborhoods, and utilities are available and will be provided. Probably should finish that slide. Conformance with engineering design standards. Several engineering documents or civil plans were required with the subdivision application, and as previously stated, those are approvable, and the street will meet the street design standards for a local street. It needs to be in conformance with the fire district and other utility company regulations, and as Commissioner Williams stated, those are aligned within the staff report for those that we heard back from in their summaries. There were no objections. Conformance with the subdivision ordinance, particularly residential design standards. The subdivision does meet those standards of Article 3 of the subdivision ordinance. Therefore, staff finds that the plat and the preliminary plat, the final and the preliminary, meet the requirements of the subdivision ordinance, zoning ordinance, and consistency with the comprehensive plan. And we also find that the request was made for this major subdivision. Notice of the application and public hearing did occur. Conformance is with the R16 zone district standards. It was reviewed by utility and service agencies, and comments have been provided. It complies with the engineering regulations and other applicable plans for the city of Lakewood. There are parkland and school land dedication requirements. These will be satisfied prior to any final plat recordation, if approved. And it is consistent with the subdivision ordinance and comprehensive plan, as well as the zoning. Therefore, staff recommends that the Planning Commission adopt the findings of fact and order as listed in the staff report and approve cases PM 23-4 and FA 23-3. Thank you for your time. Have a good evening.
All right, thank you, Ms. Mueller. Commissioners, are there any questions for staff? All right, I do have a few questions. This is probably for Mr. Mayman about the drainage easement for maintenance of the detention pond. That's an easement to the city, correct? And so the city will be maintaining that pond in perpetuity?
That is correct. Our standard policy for single-family subdivisions is that the city will sort of maintain the drainage function of the pond, all of the drainage features, and then the property owner is responsible for landscaping and those things.
Okay. So is that the individual property owner, since like the detention ponds like mostly squared on like the majority of lot 6, right? So is it that one individual homeowner who's responsible for the upkeep of the more optional landscaping in perpetuity?
Generally, yes.
Okay, yeah, and that's because of the lack of an HOA in this case, or some other organization to maintain it. Do we have precedent of that elsewhere in the city? It just strikes me that like without an HOA or something like long term, 10, 20 years from now, just depending on who that homeowner is, there's no way to assure what that landscaping continues to look like if one property owner is in charge of it,
Sure. Yes, so we do have precedent for this. We have other subdivisions that have been approved with a similar type of configuration. In general, part of the necessity of with some of the native seating and stuff that's intended in there, the amount of maintenance that's necessary is minimal.
Mm-hmm.
And the city will, for the ponds that we maintain, if it doesn't get regular maintenance for it, the city does go in a couple times a year and will mow it down and those kinds of things. But generally, we haven't run into issues with this on previous subdivisions.
Okay, good. Yeah, that's good to know.
Yeah. Were you looking for a specific example of something like that we've done?
Specific examples are helpful, but maybe not necessary. Just I'm mostly interested in the larger point of have we done this and is it turning out okay?
Yeah. Yes, it is.
Okay. That is good. I have another question. This is probably for legal, for Ms. Stanek. The applicant showed a lot of interest and willingness to, entertain the commission's suggestion that to explore a path being connected between the end of the cul-de-sac and Union Boulevard. I'm confused from reading the code legally if the Planning Commission has the option or the authority to require such a path if we wanted to. I can read section 16-3-9-9, which says pedestrian, bicycle, and equestrian trails, rights-of-ways, and open space access rights-of-ways or appropriate easements, so that's inclusive of trails, shall be dedicated, and an easement specifically for the trail, shall be dedicated when they are required. Additional rights-of-ways or easements may be required when the director, planning commission, or city council determines the paths are necessary for access to parks, schools, shopping areas, or other public facilities, right? So Union Boulevard is certainly a public facility. There are some local shops and offices along there, and so accessing between the cul-de-sac and Union Boulevard and those surrounding land uses is certainly reasonable. And the code language I just read gives the planning commission or director or city council, depending on where the approval authority for the particular subdivision in question lies. In this case, it's with us, with the planning commission, authority to require such easements. On the other hand, we have maybe, I'm unclear because, trying to find it, there's a section stating the actions the Planning Commission can take. It's 16-4-12, which basically says the Planning Commission can do two things. They can approve or deny a subdivision, right? And adding a requirement for an easement, but otherwise accepting everything is not really approving it or denying it. It's kind of approving it with conditions, but the code does not empower us to do the thing that the code says that we can do. So I've always been very confused about this issue of how we square this circle. I'm wondering if you have any insights on this matter.
Yes. So this is different from some of the other types of applications that this body reviews, because there are some applications, and specifically the zoning code, unlike the subdivision ordinance, allows you to approve with conditions or modifications, or deny. In this case, with plats, this body only has the authority to approve or deny. So you are correct with, even though it has the language, as you noted already in Title 16, that seemingly permits this for connectivity and walkability and things like that, ultimately your decision is approval or denial. One thought, and I don't know, because this is a little bit outside my area of expertise, perhaps staff can help with this. There will still need to be, I believe, is there any further action on the major site plan or anything that needs to take place where this could maybe be addressed?
One of the reasons we explored connections, we actually even look at vehicular connections from the site to Union when we first started evaluating that, and ultimately we ended up with the primary access point from Union.
Or from Van Gordon, rather.
Excuse me, thank you.
Yeah.
From Van Gordon. One of the reasons why you don't see a path in addition to grade, essentially this is going across someone's lot.
Right.
And so then you have the public being granted an access through your backyard. And so there's some conflict there. If the commission wants to pursue that, they're more than welcome to, but staff is looking at it also. It is there becomes a liability issue to the property owner with a public access.
Right.
The drainage maintenance easement is required. We didn't take it to the public because they do have access out to the public street along Van Gordon, not Union. So that's why you're not seeing a pedestrian connection from the site down to Union.
Right. Yeah, and I agree. Absolutely understand. Like legally and for respecting the future residents' privacy and property rights, we would absolutely want any sort of path to be like in a public easement or right of way, which is notably not shown on the plan because the path isn't there. And so if they were to pursue that, it would have to be, I guess, some sort of future change or dedication of said right of way.
Can I also add to that? I think there would be some significant challenges to trying to make it work physically. Because of the grade that's on the site across it, the street is steep, and so there's approximately 8 feet from the end of the back of the sidewalk at the end of the cul-de-sac to the sidewalk on Union, and it would probably require a lot of one of those lots along Union to be able to get some kind of a switchback or something to really fit into there. And so I think if we could even make it fit at all. So
yeah, that's kind of what I feared just from seeing the site and seeing the grade differential. It's a nice to have. I do stand by what I said earlier. I think if it's not somehow provided, it will happen anyway, I would imagine. So it'd be nice if the applicant can try as hard as they can. They did indicate willingness to that, which we appreciate. But yeah, just understood, and thank you for the clarification, Ms. Stanek. It's the commission, it seems legally cannot require this. We're just evaluating the rest of the application as it is per the rest of our criteria. Any other questions from commissioners? Staff? Okay. There's one person who signed up for public comment, so let's be sure to get that in. Corey Odensdorf, I'm sorry, I can't read your name very well, but you can state your name when you come down here, please. And you'll have 3 minutes to speak. There will be a light in front of you that will be green when your time begins, and after 2 minutes, 30 seconds, it'll turn yellow. It'll be red at the end of 3 minutes, and I will politely ask you to conclude your remarks. Go ahead and state your name, and you may begin.
Yeah, hi, my name's Corey Onesorg. I actually ran for House District 23. Funny seeing my house up there so many times. I live right across from this property, and 2 questions did come up for me. It wasn't my original testimony. The first one for, I believe it was Matt, would be estimated time from start to completion on the construction just in the site. I know tough to give an exact. Obviously, we're still on rough plans.
If we build the whole site at once,
Sir, you'll need to speak into the microphone, but I'm going to suggest that the speaker can finish speaking. You can come down and follow up with any answers when he's concluded.
Can I get my time back?
You may. Bit. Yeah, it's.
I'm the only speaker, so.
Yeah, it's not a big problem. I won't be hold you too closely to it tonight.
Sure.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So the other question that came up for Matt would be. Are any aspects of this project, maybe one of you would know, is it subsidized by taxpayers in any way, or grants, gifts, or donations in any way? Those would be my two questions. One comment, when we had testimony on this a while back, we're a very tight-knit community. If you drove through near the pool during election season, you'd have seen my signs and only my signs, which makes sense because I live there. But we all talk, we all get along very well. And the understanding was that we were changing the zoning to prevent some 4-story disaster, high-density housing. It was a win. We get a win for the pool, that they get money, so on and so forth. The problem is the sentiment's changed in the neighborhood. I know this because I talked to my neighborhood. And the reason for that sentiment change, House Bill 1006. So I read through probably 500, 600 bills this year. I wouldn't recommend it for anybody, but pretty well informed. And what this bill states, it expands the leasing powers of school district boards of education by allowing them to lease district property for solar, gardens, energy storage systems, and affordable housing projects for any term of years, removing previous time restrictions. Specifically, the bill eliminates the previous 10-year lease limit for these types of projects and permits leases to extend up to 50 years if the school district anticipates becoming a subtenant of the property. And I only have so much time left, but this bill brings a huge concern. I think it should bring a concern for the people doing the project. I do think it brings up safety concerns because we aren't going to know. Obviously, we would need to have a meeting with Jeffco Schools since they own that property, which is adjacent to what the property we're talking about. And I know my neighborhood would like to slow things down and pause until we get some assurances because, quite frankly, the neighborhood does not feel like we're getting anything out of this other than perhaps a year and a half, 2 years worth of noise, construction, and added traffic in our area. So thank you for your time.
All right, thank you. Yeah, and you still, I'm willing to give you the extra 30 seconds, but if you don't need it, that's okay. Are there any questions for Mr. Odensdorf?
It's Onesorg.
Onesorg. All right, I'm sorry.
Onesorg.
Onesorg.
There you go.
I apologize.
It's a tough one.
Yeah, Mr. Onesorg, to your knowledge, do you know of the Jefferson County School District's future plans for that property to the north? Obviously, it is Green Mountain Elementary School. I think most of us are aware that the district closed it 2 years ago now, and all the students who used to go there are going to Foothills Elementary, so it's currently just a vacant building. I myself have not heard of the district's plans for the future. Do you know anything?
I could say that I have seen there's been kids soccer practice on the fields there. They've set up some lights with generator or plugged in somehow. They also have, I've seen what looks to be daycare every now and then in there. And I don't know if somehow it's coordinated with the pool because I was only seeing that once the pool opened for the summer.
Got it.
I don't know exactly what the plan is, but I do know what they did to Emory Elementary School that closed and turned that one into a property for the navigation center, which I know a lot of the people that lived in that area were not happy about. So I think it's always important to take into consideration the people that live in that neighborhood and have lived there for a very long time. I don't think there's been homes built there, tract homes like this, for over 40 years, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, we can clarify.
Yeah.
All right, and Commissioner Williams has a question for you, sir. Go ahead.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you, Mr. Ornesorg. Yeah?
Onesorg.
Okay. Thank you for coming and speaking with us tonight and sharing your perspective. I'm hoping you can maybe clarify something for me. You mentioned that during the zoning code change, you and your neighbors wanted to make sure that there wasn't a multi-story, high-density development that went in on this particular property. And my understanding from the applicant, from the city, from staff presentation, and from the documents here, that is not the case. These are likely either ranch-style homes or homes with potentially a second story. I'm wondering, can you maybe reiterate for me what the concern of the neighborhood is if the concern was around a high-density home? And my understanding is that's not what's going in. Maybe I missed that. Can you please help clarify for me?
Yeah, so like I said before, a big support for the pool. It's a huge part of the community. Obviously, they have financial issues. Otherwise, they're a nonprofit. And the idea was they're going to sell that land. And one of the things the neighborhood was afraid of, that it would be a high-density housing situation, which you guys rezoned it to R16, whatever, if that's right. And now, you know, I've no doubt that Matt will do a great job. I have seen some of the work. I'm also in construction myself, electrical and solar. But my point is that the concern is once we start construction, we could very easily see Jeffco's schools, because what's happened recently, I don't know if you saw, but 2 days ago, Supreme Court basically ruled in favor of a huge defunding of Department of Education. I know a lot of money comes and filters in towards Jeffco schools. And so I know Jeffco schools is going to be wanting to have a revenue maker, Green Mountain Elementary is closed. It's not making them any money. It's losing them money. And so it would stand to make sense of why the community would be very afraid of, once construction starts with this, then more construction comes in on Emory Elementary. And we would very much not like to see that.
Can I ask a clarifying question?
You may.
Mr. Chair. Thank you for helping me better understand. So the concern is, to repeat back, that there would be construction on this property and then potentially construction on the adjacent property. I'm curious if you could help me understand what your ask of this body is to do in order to mitigate impacts to the neighborhood.
Well, I would say if you can try to get a joint meeting, I would notify more than 114 people personally. I think that number should probably be 10x that. I know you guys followed your regulations and you are going through the motions of having a public hearing. It's unfortunate I'm the only one that showed up, but I can't imagine a better person to have showed up. So can you repeat what?
Yeah, I just would like to understand what your ask of this body is to address this concern about construction.
I think it would be good to have a sit down with the community, with Jeffco Schools, with City Council, with yourselves, and hopefully we'll get a better turnout than this, but where we can sit down and talk about, because I know the neighborhood wants guarantees that we're not going to throw in and turn it into a big high dense housing right in a very quiet neighborhood. I mean, people will leave. Over 50%, I would assume, if that would go through, would leave. It would be devastating for the community that's been so long-standing. So that would really be my biggest request. And the other request would be, it might be a good idea to keep someone like myself in the loop. I can coordinate with the neighborhood and all of that stuff, as far as, making sure we don't step on too many toes, and make sure everybody's voice really gets out there. Because I'm only one voice, and this is it's a much bigger community than 114. And where the sound's going to go, the traffic impact, all of that for this project, I would like to see more people involved and another chance to discuss what's happening on that adjacent property. That's
okay.
Really all.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. I also live up the street from there as well. So, I think all of us here in this community want to be aware of this, and I appreciate you helping us understand more clearly the concerns of the immediate neighbors. So I just want to express my appreciation. That's all for me, Chair.
All right, thank you. I'm seeing no other questions from commissioners, so Mr. Onesorg, thank you for your time and coming out tonight. Mr. Hill, can you come back up? I'll have you answer the two questions Mr. Onesorg just asked you. I heard him ask a question about duration of construction and if any of your project is subsidized by taxpayers. So I appreciate answering those two questions.
I think the second question is the easiest one to answer. There are no subsidies or anything from the taxpayer. As a matter of fact, as part of this, we pay parkland dedication and open space and school dedications that go that go back into the community. So, but there are no taxpayer dollars that come to us or any subsidies from the city.
Okay, that's what I thought. Thank you.
Yes. The first question in terms of time frame is a little more difficult to answer. I can tell you if we broke ground and built all 12 homes right at the same time, that we would probably be in and out of the site in somewhere between 16 and 18 months. However, the market is really what drives that. I mean, these are for sale homes, and so we are going to time up construction to be honest with you, that's in accordance with what the demand is. Currently, we feel like there is good demand. We feel like, obviously, for the people that live in that community, understand the desirability of the Green Mountain neighborhood. And this is a unique piece of property that is an infill in Green Mountain, which has not been seen for some time. So we feel like there is quite a bit of demand for that. But give it a bit of an open-ended question there because it is somewhat market-driven. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
I would also just respond to the question that I feel like we do a very good job of mitigating construction traffic, construction noise, and making sure that we're honorable to the neighbors. The last thing we want to do is be the naughty neighbor, if you will, coming in and just making a mess of things. We have contracts with all of our subcontractors that stipulate what the work hours are, that we have to follow what all the city requirements are in terms of work hours. We have a very strict cleanup and clean out policy that's adhered to as part of our safety program. Additionally, we just, it's just good business practice to make sure you maintain a nice, clean, orderly job site, and that's part of what we do. So,
all right, thank you. Appreciate it. Okay, and Ms. Stanek, perhaps perhaps not. I'm almost certain there is a city ordinance. It's in the noise ordinance about limits on construction hours. Do you know offhand what that might be for the benefit of the community, just to know?
Yes, one moment, Chair.
Sure. All right, and then I guess I'll have a question for anyone else from staff who may know. Has anyone here heard anything from the school district about the future of that Green Mountain Elementary School property?
We have not had any contact with the school district on that particular property.
Okay, yeah. I think it's the case that you may have been coordinating with them or other interested parties on some of the other closed schools, but not this one, not yet. Okay.
That's correct.
Thanks.
And Chair Buckley, I'm looking right now at Title IX of the Lakewood Municipal Code, and there are a number of different sort of noise subsections. So I'm going through those right now. If you'll they do have prohibited noise sound level standards. They specifically address construction activities in Lakewood Municipal Code 9.52.140, which states, except as otherwise provided in this chapter, no person shall engage in, cause, or permit any person to be engaged in construction. And then there are 3 subsections: on any Sunday, on any designated holiday, or between the hours of 9 p.m. of one day and 7 a.m. of the following day.
Okay. Yeah, so those are the hours that the neighbors can expect quiet and the construction noise and activity not going on, which is, I'm sure, helpful for the neighbors to know. All right, commissioners, do we have any other questions or discussions for any of the parties, applicant, staff? Commissioner.
Commissioner Buckley,
Sure.
we had a couple people coming up and down. I might recommend asking if there's anybody else that has testimony before we close.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, we haven't closed public comment. Is there anyone else who would like to speak on this subdivision? Sir, are you interested? Come on down. And thank you for the reminder, Mr. Rice. Appreciate it. All right. And sir, when you get down, just kindly begin by stating your name and what ward or area of town you live in, and then you'll have your 3 minutes and possible questions afterwards.
Okay, my name is Bob Byers. I live exactly across from this development at 1031 South Van Gordon Court. My questions are, what is the selling price of these houses going to be? And because of tax implications, also, where exactly is that cul-de-sac going to come out? Because I have not been able to actually get and see a site map.
Okay.
And I could not see it, on the screen.
Yeah, understand.
That's my questions.
Okay, thank you. There is a map, of a civil drawing of the site and a plat that's available on Lakewood Speaks. Is there anyone here from staff who might have a hard copy of those documents that you could lend to Mr. Byers by chance? I don't know. I'm just trying to be helpful.
I'm not on the internet.
Okay. Ms. Mueller, do you have something for him? Okay. Yeah, it looks like Ms. Mueller is sharing a document with Mr. Byers. So, Mr. Byers, please come speak to the microphone if you have anything.
According to the site map,
Please come to the microphone.
cul-de-sac comes out exactly in front of my house. And I'm concerned about evening lights, cars coming out with the lights, bright lights, and potential somebody coming out and driving right into my house.
Okay.
Those are my concerns.
Okay. Anything else?
No.
Any questions for Mr. Byers? Okay. Thank you. Can Ms. Mueller, can he keep that map you gave him? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Feel free to keep it, and thank you for coming to comment. Is there anyone else who has not signed up to speak who would like to testify with respect to this subdivision application?
What are the prices going to be?
I heard a question in the back about the prices. I'll call Mr. Hill back down in a moment to answer that question from him. Would anyone else like to speak? All right, yeah, Mr. Hill, come on down. You can answer that previous question. The question from Mr. Byers was the price of the homes. I'll note that this is probably not exactly related to the approval criteria that is in the code for the subdivision, but we'll ask you the question nonetheless.
Yeah, so the prices haven't been set yet because the designs aren't finalized. The rule of thumb that the market sets the price. It's not necessarily what we do, so we're looking what the surrounding properties are selling for, what their price per square foot is, what their comparable amenities are, and then setting our prices based off that. If we just come in and set a number, they're never going to sell. We have to make sure that they're competitive with the marketplace. But in fairness, we haven't set prices because the designs aren't finalized, and that's a big part of it as well. So
Okay, understand. Thank you for your response. Is there anyone else in the audience in attendance who would like to testify with respect to this subdivision application? All right, I'm seeing none, so I will now close public comment. And Commissioner Williams, I think you had your light on last time.
Yeah,
I
thank you,
tried
Chair.
to do that.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you. I appreciate that. I just wanted to seek some clarity on the question about the Jeffco Schools property. Are we talking about the property just to the north or the one just to the south of this?
The property to the north is the one that's owned by the school district. Is that right? Yeah. Ms. Miller is shaking her head.
That's
yes.
the one that was specifically addressed in public comment. So my understanding is that as currently, this is zoned also as R16. Is it my understanding then would be that if in a hypothetical situation which is not on the table, to be very clear, but a very hypothetical situation where Jeffco Schools were to sell that property to someone else, as the current zoning ordinance states, that would also be single family development. Is that correct?
Under the current zoning, it would be the R16 district, so only what would be permissible in that.
Okay, that is just what I just wanted to make sure that I understood what property we're talking about and what it's currently zoned at, so I appreciate that clarification.
Okay, great. And yeah, that is the current zoning, so a similar type of development to the one we're seeing on this vacant lot is theoretically possible, but not proposed by anyone that anyone here knows of on that school district parcel. I guess I'll just go ahead and also volunteer. When I was studying up for this case, I did look at the draft proposed zoning map of the pending potential zoning ordinance update that's not been adopted by City Council. So for purposes tonight of evaluating whether or not to approve this particular application, that potential action that City Council might take with rezoning bears nothing at all to our votes. But I did look at it anyways, just because I was curious. And it's the proposed zoning is RLB, which is a very similar zone district. I think maybe the most notable difference is the lot size. Minimum is 5,000 instead of 6,000 square feet, but still pretty close and similar to what this is. And the school to the north as well would also be rezoned RLB, at least as that draft proposal is currently pending and showing. And that's all TBD when or if that will happen, of course. Commissioners, are there any other questions for the applicant, for staff? Okay, everyone's shaking their heads no, so we have come to the point where I will ask for a motion. Commissioner Greblionis.
Thank you, Chair. I move that the Planning Commission adopt the findings of fact and order as presented in the staff report and approve the major subdivision preliminary plat and final plat, case number PM 23-0004 and FA 23-003.
Second.
Thank you. That is a good motion and a second. Commissioner discussion. I will be happy to support this application. I think it does very clearly meet all of the design standards in Article 3 of the subdivision ordinance that Ms. Mueller succinctly outlined in her presentation earlier tonight. It meets the lot sizes of the zone district. It has the extra lot widths where needed because of the cul-de-sac or because of the corner streets. It does have the local street constructed to the city's standards for new streets, and utilities are provided for and available. I think it meets the requirements and intent of the zone district and the comprehensive plan. The way that this has been thoughtfully subdivided and presented. And so I just want to thank the work, especially the applicant and also very much of staff laying this all out for us tonight. I'm very comfortable voting to approve this personally. Any other thoughts from commissioners? Commissioner Williams.
Thank you, Chair. I know that you particularly like us to share, for the record, our reasoning behind a vote. I also will vote to approve this. Not only does it meet the requirements of the comp plan, and the applicant has put forward a clear plan to move this forward. I just want to clarify something that we should do as a body. I don't believe in, I don't know if legal has thoughts on this, but we should not be making decisions about proposals based upon hypothetical uses of properties nearby or adjacent to the application that is in front of us. And so I just want to make sure that I share that with our community so that folks understand the role of this body and sort of that thought process. So I do recognize concerns about construction from the community. As someone who lives up the street from that, I totally get it. And it's our responsibility as a commission to make decisions based on the things that are in front of us, which is why I will be voting to support this. Thank you, Chair.
Yeah, well said, Commissioner Williams. Right, there's always 100 hypotheticals we can dream up if we're creative enough. That's rarely our role. All right, I'm seeing no other requests to speak, so we will cast votes. Mr. Medina, does the voting machine work?
It looks like it does. If it doesn't, I'll go ahead and call another verbal vote.
All right, we'll try out the voting machines. Please cast your votes. A yes vote will approve the motion to approve the subdivision application. And that passes 5 ayes, 0 nays. Mr. Hill, congratulations and thank you for your time tonight. That is approved. Mr. Medina, would you please read our next agenda item into the record?
Item 6, approval of minutes for May 21st, 2025.
All right, thank you. I reviewed the minutes and have 2 comments, actually, so I will go ahead and make some motions for amending the minutes. On the top of page 6 in the minutes, there's a sentence that says Commissioner O'Neill makes a motion to up the roof height for the maximum height of buildings in which RL to 35 feet. That sentence is phrased a little bit awkwardly, and I think hints at a question of which district we were talking about. In the actual meeting, we were talking about specific districts, not which one. So I propose that we strike that sentence and replace it with Commissioner O'Neill makes a motion to increase the maximum building height in the RLA, RLB, and RLC zone districts to 35 feet. Is there a second to that motion?
Second.
Thank you. And we'll vote on that amendment. Yes, we'll make that change in the minutes. Commissioner Holman? Commissioner Holman, your vote. Okay, the motion carries 5 ayes, 0 nays, so that amendment is incorporated. And my second amendment at the bottom of page 7, the acronym LIHTC was misspelled. It's an acronym for Low Income Housing Tax Credit, LIHTC. There was a misspelling of that abbreviation in the minutes, so my motion is just to correct that to LIHT, meaning Low Income Housing Tax Credit.
Second. And good catch.
All right. We'll take a vote. A yes will incorporate that change into the minutes. And that carries 5 ayes, 0 nays. Are there any other motions for amendments to the minutes? Okay, we will vote a third time, this time to approve the minutes as, or I should take a motion to approve the minutes as amended.
I move to approve the minutes as amended.
Seconded.
Thank you. Cast your votes. And that carries 5 ayes, 0 nays. Mr. Medina, our next agenda item, please.
Item 7, general business.
All right, Mr. Rice, I believe you have some future general business for us.
Maybe. I forget what we talked about. We were, and you don't know this because I just found this out today. We were looking at our next hearing date on August 6th. That's going to be moved back, and Mr. Medina will be pulling the commission on alternative dates. I think we're looking at the 17th of September, October 1st, and October 15th, if those are all Wednesday. So you'll be getting an email to ask you your availability on those dates.
Okay, that's
9/17, 10/1, 10/15. We just have to push it back.
Okay, yeah, we can handle that over email, pulling everyone for their availability. Mr. Rice, you had talked with me before, I believe, about a planning commission retreat.
Retreat, right. So, Jaime, do you wanna talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, the main thing we wanted to gauge from the commission would be best time of day to do it, whether the commission wants to do something morning, afternoon, evening, right? or if the commission wants to do something during the week or on a weekend. That would be the main thing that we'd want to look at before we, select an option. I don't know what the commission thinks, or if you all want to discuss that right now.
Sure, yeah, we can discuss it. Generally, what would the intent and the agenda of a commissioner retreat be?
So we did talk about that a little bit, and essentially, staff work plan always comes to mind. Let the commission know what the planning group is working on in 2026 and what we will be bringing back to the commission. So that's a big part. And then what might the commission want to talk about, right? So we can have ideas for you or talk about future agendas. So depending on, in the past, we've done different trainings, had different groups in and talked to the commission. So depending on length, right, we've in the past, we've done retreats where we've started at 9 and finished at 2. We've done them on a Saturday or a Friday in the mornings. The accommodated commissioners. We've also done kind of shorter. We've taken like a study session and come in and talk to you. And I wouldn't necessarily call it a retreat, right? It's just kind of more of an educational or update opportunity for the commission. So if I have a potential speaker sitting right next to me. If you want specific information on a legal topic, we could bring in Lauren to do that. If you wanted something specific from staff, we could add staff. We could also look out in the industry if there was something and find a land use professional to come talk to you. Or we could have a dinner, do some type of activity. I think it was one of the things Jaime was looking at. We could do a dinner, go through the staff work plan and talk about commission goals for the upcoming year as well.
Yeah,
So-
among the options that I combed through was, something simple as a dinner, have dinner, go through some presentations that staff may want to make, and go from there. I will say that a lot of these options will be tailored around what the commission prefers as far as time, and like I said, day of the week, time of day. So that would be a good starting point for us to really solidify what it is we want to do or not do.
Okay. Yeah, thanks. That's all helpful information. Commissioner's reaction. Commissioner Molinaro, you had your light on briefly.
I was just curious how long the retreat
Okay.
lasts, like how many hours are involved.
Well, in some discussion with Commissioner Buckley, we could stick with Wednesday evening and start a little earlier and finish a little earlier as well. So it depends on how much time you want to commit to the topic itself. So that's open. Well, like I said, we could go half day. So we could ask for a commitment of 4 to 6 hours. Or we could use this time frame and get together as well.
All right.
Yeah, so some of the options that we were looking at were tailored around a 4-hour window, but we can certainly expand that and look elsewhere depending on what the commission wants. So, and the commission's availability.
Okay. Just so speaking for my own self, if we're thinking about some sort of workshop with various presentations lasting, 4 to especially 6 hours, that might be nice to do on something like a Saturday. So we're not planning on being here for a 6-hour meeting at night. If the agenda is short enough where we can fit it in on a Wednesday night, that's also nice if the meeting doesn't run too long, just because, again, at least me personally, I try not to make too many plans on Wednesday nights, knowing that commission meetings can come up. That's just my own thoughts. Commissioner Williams.
Thank you, Chair. One technical legal question. Would this be an open meeting technically? It would be.
It would be a public meeting. It would be posted. A couple suggestions, and I haven't spoken with staff here, but a few thoughts just to throw out there. There will be, in the next year or so, there will be a need to do a Bob's Rules of Parliamentary Procedure training, because we are going to be shifting from Robert's Rules to Bob's Rules. So for instance, that might be a topic where I spend just a little bit of time, doing that training for you all. And again, I'll have to speak with Paul and Jaime because I don't want to take up too much of the time, but there are always, depending on when this is scheduled too, there are always other interesting topics that I can certainly think of if we need to fill an agenda, although everyone might say that's enough from legal, but I have other things that we can also go over. Paul is also aware that we eventually will need to update the rules and regulations for the Planning Commission and Board of Adjustment. So not that we would do that during that meeting because it is just a retreat, but it might be nice to have just a brief kind of lay of the land overview, what that process is going to look like, because those will also need to be amended this upcoming year as well. So I think that'll be probably part of the work plan discussion. But
yeah, those are good topics.
And I might add, in the past, the longer retreats with the commission, they've been commission generated. They had specific topics that they wanted to discuss, looking for specific information and so forth. So if the commission doesn't come back to staff, we are not going to come to you with presentations and information that the commission necessarily isn't interested. Our focus is to let you know what's coming in 2026, or into 2026. So we could I don't know, it depends on how well you talk and eat. We could find a venue with a big room that we could lease. We wouldn't have to do a presentation. We'd probably have maybe the managers from the department there to talk about different aspects or parts of the work program. I would be there, and you're all aware of what's coming up from my group, right? I kind of talk about it often, so I won't have much time from that. It'll be housing, sustainability, and comprehensive planning that would chat with you most. But we could do something over dinner, keep it under 3 hours, maybe even less than that. So.
Thank you. My follow-up question, do I still have the floor?
You may, yes.
Okay. Thank you for that clarification. My follow-up to that would just be, I guess if you are looking for things that would be curious about, I would be very interested in hearing more information about the bike and cycling updates for the city and plans for connectivity, trails, those types of things. I think Lakewood has a lot of bike trails that I feel could be better connected. I'd be curious to get more information about that. That's one for me personally. Mm-hmm. The only other thing I would just say for me personally in my schedule, I'm pretty flexible in terms of like weekends, Fridays, half days, that kind of thing. So I totally defer to my fellow commissioners on what is best suited for them. The final thing I would just say or ask staff is, I would be curious, because a lot of us here are newer, are there specific things or topics that you feel that we need to be better educated about? Is something that I would be curious to sort of flip that question on you and say, having watched us, are you sitting down there cringing at any of the things that we're saying? And is there a deeper training that we need to be aware of?
From my standpoint, with a relatively new commissioner, no. I mean, even the hearing this night, I think was, this evening was conducted very well. So you're a smart, active, engaged group, and unless there's something that you have, I don't know that I would create something that I want to train you on. Most of what that you need to know to sit up there, Travis and Lauren go through during the orientation, and so I don't have a topic specific. And so as staff, as you think moving forward into 2026, you know 2 items that are coming to you. Phase 2 of the comp plan process, and then staff's, if the ordinance, the zoning ordinance is adopted by city council, staff's going to start evaluating it, and if there are tweaks or changes or something that we've overlooked, we'll be coming back to the commission probably late next year, middle of about this time next year. It'll take it at least 6 months of applying the code to say it works, it doesn't work, or we have a list of amendments we want. So those are 2 big items.
All right. Thanks, Mr. Rice. Commissioner Gribble-Yunis.
Thanks, Chair. I guess I would just say my availability is fairly flexible as well. I guess a preference would be if we could squeeze it into like a regular Wednesday night, just because those are nights we all have kind of set aside. And then also, I know we have 2 commissioners not here, so it's kind of hard to come to a consensus for everyone without them here. So I might suggest if there's not a rush to schedule this, table it until we have a meeting with everyone.
Okay. Commissioner Holman?
Thank you, Chair. Yeah, I think for my availability, Wednesday nights work best. Evenings and weekends also I'm available. I would like to know what staff has planned for the rest of 2025 and 2026. And I also would like to echo Commissioner Williams for the cycling plan. And if we have metrics that we record regarding cycling to see if we are meeting our goals and objectives for increasing participation in cycling. That's all.
All right, thank you. Yeah, a few things that come to my mind as well would be the subdivision ordinance. I think about a year ago, Ms. Stanek was telling you that that's on a future plan somewhere to take a look at that. Is that still something coming up? And it could be something we discuss, certainly.
Yes, we decided to get through the comp plan and zoning code processes first, and then we do, depending on how those, if the zoning code is adopted, let's say if it's adopted as it's written right now, we would have to make additional changes because it does reference some of the residential zone districts, and we need to kind of go to that form-based language. So we did form an internal staff work group where we worked through some changes. I know Chair Buckley had provided input as well initially, but we'll probably need to have that be more public facing and put that on the 2026 work plan. And but just so this commission's aware, it's still somewhat early stages because it has not been circulated with the development review group yet or the division managers, things like that. So we kind of put it on pause while we got through some of our other bigger ticket items, and then I anticipate we'll get that to Mr. Rice and Keith Hensel in Public Works and others who really need to work with that code a lot. And then once we feel like it's in a pretty good place, I believe we're going to have a red line that's going to come to this body for review.
Okay. Is that probably sometime in 2026, pending all the other things we've got going on right now, finishing up?
Yes, at this point, it's going to be 2026.
Yeah, okay. But yeah, that would certainly be a great topic to just tee us up for a little bit on a retreat like this. Mr. Rice, you mentioned a few moments ago, like phase 2 of the comp plan. I'm thinking that you probably mean like what we've called previously the implementation plan or the implementation framework. Maybe you can elaborate more on what that will consist of for
Correct.
us.
Christy and Roger have referred to the implementation of the comp plan, and I'm not familiar enough to use the correct terminology. I can look it up. That's why I was kind of being very general with that. But yes, okay. They have plans to come back to the commission, implementation strategies of the comp plan and developing those. So.
Yeah, and no worries. I'm a little confused too, because I think the vocabulary we're using for that next phase has evolved a bit as the comp plan has also evolved through the process of the last year. We've been doing that. So I'm glad I'm not the only one who is confused, and all the more reason why it's a valuable thing for us to discuss.
Correct.
All right, so I would just suggest that we can follow this up with an email poll, like we often do for meetings, of available dates for the commission. It sounds like, to the extent of the agenda, we might be able to do a Wednesday evening. We'll, of course, get the input of the two absent commissioners tonight if we have staff pull us over email. I'd be okay with starting a little bit earlier, just if we think that that's appropriate to get to the whole agenda, and if we're having dinner somewhere during a presentation. I'm personally open to that. Seems like others are shaking their head as conceptually open to that. So, yeah, let's pull some Wednesday nights, and if the agenda seems long, like maybe longer than about 4 hours, my suggestion would be maybe we can pull some weekend dates as well if we think the agenda is going to creep and grow that long. But if we can be more concise and efficient with our time, then a Wednesday night is probably the best.
Very good. We'll get that together.
All right.
May I add one more thing?
Go ahead.
We were, before the meeting, Commissioners Holman and Molinar, you do have email addresses. So you do, because I actually just looked. You don't have access to them, which I find very odd, because as soon as they're created, somebody says, here's what you have to do to log in. Jaime and I will figure that out tomorrow, and you will be able to log in. As we are also doing that, I looked in Lakewood Speaks. You are now added as a user. So when you log into Lakewood Speaks, you should be able to go in and click Read Comment now. So because you're actually a decision maker, and so that's your authority, is you'll be able to show that you've read those comments. So we'll follow up on emails, but you're set for Lakewood Speaks, and we'll test it out as well to see if you can approve comments.
Okay. And I'll just state for the public knowledge, the Lakewood Speaks comments is saying that 2 of the 7 commissioners read them. So obviously we had a few absences tonight, and the 2 new commissioners still working out the technical kinks of logging in to track that. But it was only about 5 minutes before we began the meeting tonight, I asked everyone up here if they had read all the comments, and the answer was yes. So I just want the public to know that we are indeed reading the comments online, and they're very valuable and appreciated, and please keep on commenting online. Commissioner Williams.
Thank you, Chair. I will just state for the public, anyone listening along, I am the 3rd commissioner who did not mark that they had read them, though I did read them, and I was having trouble logging in. So, that's not a staff problem, that's a me problem. So I will remedy that before our next meeting, but I do want to state for the public that I did read the comments, so thank you.
Thanks for owning up to that. We appreciate it. Any other general business that any commissioner wants to bring up for the good of the whole? All right, I'm not seeing any. And so we have come to the end of our agenda. Thank you all for staying with us to the very end. It is 8:42 p.m. and this meeting is adjourned.